Dear student, today we'll deal about model number 2, transmit system and brake system. Transmit system is nothing but it consists of clutches, gears and drive to wheels. Today we'll deal about only drive to wheels. Inside the drive to chapter, drive to wheels chapter, you can get propeller shaft, universal joints, rear axle, rear axle drives, rear axle drive supporting systems and differentials. Let us go for drive to wheel chapter. This transmission system. In that drive to wheel concept. This chapter describes the purpose, construction and operation of drive lines, which includes driving connection between the transmission and driving wheels. In an automobile, the drive line consists of propeller shaft, one or two universal joints depending on the type of drive and a slip joint. All these are used to transfer engine power from transmission to the differential, which is provided at the rear wheel axis. This point we can study in this chapter. Let us go for the first concept of this chapter, propeller shaft. Name is propeller shaft. It also called drive shaft. The front engine rear wheel drive automobiles require a propeller shaft to connect transmission output shaft to the differential at the rear axle. The propeller shaft transmits rotary motion of the transmission output shaft to the differential, causing the rear wheel to rotate. At high speed, whirling of propeller shaft causes bending stress in the material. Along with that, shaft experiences the torsion load also, which it has to withstand, and along with to reduce the bending stresses. To reduce this bending stress and the torsion loads, the propeller shaft should make tubular and should be perfectly balanced. One or two universal joints are used to permit variation in the angle of drive. The engine and transmission are rigidly attached to the frame of the vehicle, while rear axle housing with wheels and differential is attached to the frame by springs. The springs compresses and expand to road due to road irregularities, which changes angle of drive between the propeller shaft and the transmission shaft. This also changes distance between the transmission and the differential. The propeller shaft movement in this figure clearly explains the how propeller shaft receives the torque from gearbox, how that will transfer to the rear axle. Second, the front left hand, that is the differential part or rear axle part. The right hand side is the gearbox part. From that, torque can get that will transfer to the universal joint, then to the propeller shaft, then to the one more universal joint, then to the differential, then to the wheels. Likewise, torque transmission takes place. Universal joints are used as a flexible connection between two rigid shafts at an angle with each other. These joints allows the angular movement between two shafts and transmit power at an angle. In automobile, universal joints are used not only to permit power transmission from horizontal transmission output shaft to the propeller shaft, which is at an angle to the horizontal position, but also allow the change of this angle due to the moment of rear axle up and down on surface irregularities. Without this device, power transmission under this condition would be impossible. Under this condition is nothing but irregularity condition, road uneven surface condition. You can't transfer the power effectively. For that purpose, this universal joint is very essential in while connecting propeller shaft to the transmission output shaft and differential input shafts. Construction of universal joint consists of two Y-shaped components that are called the yoke, Y-shaped yoke, one from power input shaft and the power output shaft. Both are connected with the help of special member called cross, also called a spider. This spider uh, consists of four arms, two of which are supported with input power shaft. Another two are supported in the yoke of output power shaft. As the input power drives the spider, causes the rotation of the output shaft through the arms of cross. This is the working on construction and functions of universal joint. And also the universal joint also called as solid drive line. And also one more function, universal joint transmits the torque even to the rear axle is moving up and down. While rear axle moving up and down, the torque is evenly transmitted to the rear axles. That is the main use of universal joints. Universal joint also called as U joint also, solid drive line also. Uh, as I told, the two Y-shaped yokes are present. Yoke also called as knuckle and connected with the spider or the cross. And it is a simple component, compact, and its construction and is efficient for small angular movement of propeller shaft, say up to 20 degree. The components of drive shaft along with universal. The first one, left topmost corner, you can see slip yoke. In that circular, so you can get splines. You can see internal splines. Then is cross. Then you can get drive shaft and rear yoke. The cross in the schematic representation of universal joint connected to the propeller shaft. You can see that is the construction and generalized view of propeller shaft and the universal joint. This is the animation of universal joint. Rear axle, also called as back axle. The propeller shaft takes the drive from transmission and transmits it to the differential, from where the power goes to the driving wheels through the rear axle. A dead axle is one which carries a part of the vehicle weight but does not drive the wheels connected to it. The live axle carries vehicle weight and also drives the wheel connected to it. Dead axle normally you can observe in front wheel drive system. Front engine pressed front end, so whatever the motive force is generated directly transferred to the front axle. No heat that power is transferred to the rear axle. Only it takes the weight of the vehicle. And live axle nothing but engine will be present at the front end or back end. The power is transferred to the rear axle. Hence, its rear axle normally you can call as a here back axle. Sometimes we call it live axle. Sometimes it is called as a dead axle. Live or back axle. It acts as a beam upon the upon the ends of which the road wheels can revolve and through which the weight of the body and load can be transmitted via the springs and the road wheels to the ground. So it acts as a one beam, both ends having wheels. It takes the weight of the body and load is also transferred to the ground via springs and road wheels. Also, second function, it acts as a housing to support the and the differential and the shaft that transmit the drive to the road wheels. Figure shows the simplified view of a live rear axle for a front engine rear driven automobile. The pinion shaft is supported in the bearings in axle casing and takes the drive from propeller shaft. The pinion shaft drives a crown wheel which is in mesh with it and mounted on shaft. The end caps are used to restrict the wheel in the axial direction. The wheels are mounted on the ends of the axle shaft. In actual case, two shafts are used instead of one. This is the construction of rear axle. The bottom side you can observe the actual view of rear axle. During working condition, back axle experiences the various forces and torques. Let us discuss the about various force and torques. Axle during working condition, the back axle experiences the various forces and torques. The torque reaction, driving thrust, weight of the body, and the sideway forces. Coming to torque reaction, the below figure you can observe while explaining. The propeller shaft applies a torque to the pinion shaft P, which in turn transmits to the axle shaft E. Assume that if the road wheels are fixed, then on turning the shaft P, the pinion will have to roll around the crown wheel C. Thus, if the road wheels are fixed with the propeller shaft in the turning condition, the pinion will tend to climb around the crown wheel. As axle casing supports pinion, it will be subjected to a force which causes it to rotate. The torque produced in this action is equal and opposite reaction to the driving torque which is applied to the road wheels. This phenomenon is called torque reaction, due to which axle case tend to turn opposite to the direction of road wheel rotation. This has to be opposed, otherwise propeller shaft would be subjected to heavy bending. This can be avoided by attaching an arm or member to the casing and other end of which is secured to the frame. The braking torque on the axle casing is opposite in direction to the torque reaction. Second one, driving thrust. Driving torque is torque produced in the engine causes the thrust to produce it on the road wheels. Sudden jerk, which has to be transmitted from axle casing to the chassis frame and the body of the vehicle. To do this, the thrust member or radius rod are used. These members are attached to the axle casing and chassis frame in the longitudinal direction. Next, third one, weight of the body. If we consider the rear axle as a beam which supports the end and load at 2 points, nothing but two wheels intermediate position, you can consider as a weight of the body. Weight of the body acting downward direction, that wheels reaction force acting upward direction, it experiences one type of the shearing force and the bending motions. The sideway force or the side thrust. Fourth one, rear axle also experiences the side thrust or pull due to any side load on wheels. To reduce this one, pan-hard rod may be used to hold the axle in position against the side thrust. These are the these are the force experienced by the back axle and torque experienced by the back axle during the working condition. To reduce this one, different types of the rear axle drives are using, in that springs are using. Here springs are act as a torque member. It resists the all loads based on the arrangement. Different types of the rear axle drives are available. In that, very important one is Hotchkiss drive and torque tube drive. With the rear axle drive, the two important types is rear axle drive and the Hotchkiss drive and torque tube drive. Hotchkiss drive. This is the schematic representation of Hotchkiss drive. It is simple and widely used system. In this arrangement, the spring, beside taking weight of the body, also takes the torque reaction, driving thrust, and side forces. The drive consists of an open propeller shaft secured to transmission output shaft and differential pinion gear shaft. The propeller shaft is provided with two universal joints and a sliding joint, that one you can see in drawing. The springs are bolted to the axle casing. The front end of the spring is rigidly fixed to the frame while rear end is connected to the frame by swinging links or shackle. Front half of the spring will transmit driving thrust to the frame. It is seen that axle casing cannot turn under torque reaction without causing the spring to flex. The springs offer considerable resistance to this deformation. Thus torque reaction is overcome. Springs deflects as it experiences torque reaction and bevel pinion shaft changes its position. Under this condition, axis of bevel pinion shaft will not pass through the center of the front universal joint. Therefore, if there is no universal joint at the rear end, propeller shaft will bend. To overcome this effect, two universal joints are used, one at the front end and another at the rear end. Again, rear axle moves up and down in a circle with the front spring support at the frame. Center is called as a O2. But the propeller shaft moves in circle O1 as a center, that is center of the front universal joint. O2 is the center of the rear universal joint. Since these two centers do not coincide, the distance between the front universal joint and the pinion shaft of the axle will alter during the up and down movement of the axle, and to accommodate this, the sliding joint is to be used in the propeller shaft. This is the working and need of Hotchkiss type. Next, torque tube drive. In this type, the springs takes body weight and the side thrust only. Remember, it takes springs takes only body weight and side thrust. Previous one, springs takes all forces, torque reaction, driving thrust, and side force and weight of the body. But here spring takes only body weight and the side thrust. The torque reaction and driving thrust are taken by another member called torque tube. Here torque tube takes only torque reaction and the driving thrust. These torque tubes are made tubular and usually around the propeller shaft. One end of the torque tube is attached to the axle casing, while the other end, which is spherical in shape, fits in the cup fixed to the frame that one you can see in drawing. As the torque tube takes torque reaction, axis of bevel pinion shaft will not change and always pass through the center of the spherical cup. If the universal joint connecting propeller shaft and the transmission shaft is located exactly at the center of the spherical cup, hence only one universal joint is used at the front end, no universal joint is needed at the rear end of the propeller shaft. Also, both pinion shaft and propeller shaft will move about the same center, that is, about the center of the spherical cup, hence no sliding joint is needed in this case. This is the working of torque tube drive. Now coming to rear axle support system, or also called as a rear axle types. Types of rear axle. Also, the name is rear axle supporting system. Depending on the position and number of bearings, they classified into semi or half floating rear axle, three-quarter floating rear axle, fully floating axle. As you can see in this drawing, the semi-floating axle. The right one is schema cross-section view of semi-floating axle. Left side one is actual view. In this is used in a most passenger vehicles and light commercial vehicles. The inner end of the axle shaft is supported only by differential side gears, and the differential casing carrying the inner bearing between it and the axle housing that support it. The inner end of the axle shaft thus is relieved of the job of supporting the vehicle weight by axle casing. The outer end supports vehicle weight and takes end thrust. Hence, this construction is called semi-floating type. Coming to three-quarter floating axle. This type of the axle is combination of fully and semi-floating type. Normally, you can observe in commercial vehicles and some passenger vehicles. Three-quarter looking like schematic representation or cross-sectional view looking like this. This is a compromise of two between more robust floating type and semi floating type. In this type, bearing is located between the axle casing and the hub instead of between axle casing and the shaft, as in case of semi floating type. Here the axle shaft has to take end loads and driving torque. It not subjected to any bending and shearing action due to vehicle weight. Axle casing supports these two through hub and bearings. This is the construction and need of three-quarter floating, fully floating type. Normal this one you can observe in heavy trucks. Schematic representation and actual view of fully floating axle you can see here. This is very robust and are used on heavy trucks. The wheel hub is supported by two bearings running directly upon the axle casing. The axle shaft is fastened to the wheel hub flange by using some kind of coupling which transmit rotary motion of the axle shaft to the hub and wheel. The two taper roller bearings supports axle casing in the hub and takes side load. Thus the axle shaft have to carry only driving torque. The vehicle weight is completely supported by the wheels and axle casing. As axle shaft carries only driving torque, they can be removed and replaced without removing the wheels or disturbing the differential. In this case, the wheel remain in position even if the axle breaks, which is not possible with other arrangement. It is more expensive, bulkier and heavier than any of other type because here if any axle ruptures only that without removing of wheels you can replace the newer one. That's why the more expensive one normally you can observe in heavy trucks. Now coming to next topic is differential. Before that one, the automobile rear axle, semi-floating, three-quarter floating and fully floating type. These are the three figures that we easily can identify the differences. First one weight supported by axle. Second one axle shaft subject to only torque except uh, when rounding turn or the roads that are not level. Third one the floating weight supports entirely by housing axle shaft subjected only torque. Coming to differential. A differential is a device capable of transmitting torque and rotation through three shafts, almost always used in one of the two ways. In one way, it receives the one input provides two output. It is found in most automobiles. A differential is used to allow the wheels to spin at different speed, and the function of differential unit is to allow different speeds to the two wheels because uh, while vehicle moving in a turning condition turn path, outer wheel should rotate faster than the inner wheel. That's the main function of differential. The construction of and operation of differential. Construction was it consists of driving drive pinion or bevel gear attached to this shaft which is coupled to the propeller shaft, a crown wheel or ring gear which is bolted to the differential cage is in mesh with bevel pinion. The cage carries a cross pin or spider. Cross pin is used when two pinion gears are employed and spider is used when four pinion gears are used. The, this cross pin supports two differential pinion gears which are meshed with two differential side gears which are splined to the half axle shaft. The ring gear is free to rotate on the half shaft which is you can see in drawing. When propeller shaft turns the bevel pinion, the pinion will turn the crown wheel. The crown wheel in turn will revolve the differential cage and crosspin. Axial side gears will still not turn by adding two differential pinion gears that mesh with the side gears. The revolving cage will turn the axial side gears with it. When the vehicle is going to straight ahead, the crown will turn the cage. The differential pinion gear and axial side gears are moving around with the cage, and the pinion gears do not rotate on the cross pin or about its own axis, but apply equal torque to the two side gears. This drives both rear wheels at the same speed, and crown wheel, differential cage, cross pin, pinion gear and side gears all turn as a solid unit. But both half shaft rotate at the same speed, and there is no relative movement among various differential gears. But when vehicle taking a turn, the cage continues to rotate and pull both the pinion gears around the crosspin. Outer wheel must turn faster than the inner wheel, and for this to happen, outer axle side gear has to rotate faster than the inner axle side gear. To permit this, the two differential pinion gears rotate on their axes. This allows them to pull on both axle side gears while at the same time compensating for the difference in speed by rotating around their shaft. This is the working of differential. Thank you. See in this drawing clearly you can see while vehicle moving in a turning path, inner wheel should travel shorter distance as compared to outer wheel. So with the help of differential gears or differential that can achievable. So inner wheel rotation is slower than the outer wheel rotates faster, so that without any disturbance vehicle takes the normal turn. Universal joint. Universal joints are used as a flexible connection between two rigid shafts at an angle with each other. These joints allows the angular movement between two shafts and transmit power at an angle. In automobile, universal joints are used not only to permit power transmission from horizontal transmission output shaft to the propeller shaft, which is at an angle to the horizontal position, but also allow the change of this angle due to the moment of rear axle up and down on surface irregularities. Without this device,